Hello everyone, today we'll learn what is the meaning of inverse matrix. Let's say we have a matrix 2, 1, 5, 3 and this is an inverse matrix of 3, negative 1, negative 5, 2. And in fact 3, negative 1, negative 5, 2 is also the inverse matrix of 2, 1, 5, 3. Okay, the two matrices when you multiply will produce 1, 0, 0, 1, which is identity matrix. So the inverse matrix of 2, 1, 5, 3 is actually 3, negative 1, negative 5, 2. And the inverse matrix of 3, negative 1, negative 5, 2 is 2, 1, 5, 3. Right, that is how the inverse matrix work. So when you take the two matrices, the matrix and the inverse, you multiply, you will get identity matrix. Hence, multiplication of matrix A and inverse matrix A will result in identity matrix I. Okay, so A times A inverse is equal to A inverse times with the A and will produce identity matrix. Alright, so this is a very important concept that you must memorize. So determine whether the following matrix is the inverse matrix of 4, 1, 7, 2. So how to determine whether 4, 1, negative 7, 2 is the inverse of 4, 1, 7, 2. So we need to take the matrix 4, 1, 7, 2 and multiply by matrix 4, 1, negative 7, 2, and the product is 9, 6, 14, 11, and it is not identity matrix. So we will say that 4, 1, negative 7, 2 is not the inverse matrix of 4, 1, 7, 2. So, or we can say that we take 4, 1, negative 7, 2, we times with the 4, 1, 7, 2, and the result again is not the identity matrix. So hence, the conclusion is 4, 1, negative 7, 2 is not the inverse of 4, 1, 7, 2. Alright, so that's how you determine whether the matrix given is the inverse matrix or not. So same thing apply to B. So if we take 2, negative 1, negative 7 and 4, we times with the matrix 4, 1, 7, 2. Okay, so let's work it out so that we can determine whether 4, 1, 7, 2 is the inverse of 2, negative 1, negative 7, 4, and the result produced is 1, 0, 0, 1, which is actually the identity matrix that I just taught to you in the previous video. So when you take the 2, negative 1, negative 7, 4, you times back with 4, 1, 7, 2, it will produce the identity matrix again. So hence, we can say that 2, negative 1, negative 7, 4 is the inverse matrix of 4, 1, 7, 2. Alright, so that is how you determine the inverse matrix. Alright, so remember the concept. A times A inverse is equal to A inverse times A, and the result is identity matrix. So the same go to question number 1A. We need to multiply these two matrices and we want to know the product of these two matrices. Are they given identity matrix? It seems like it is not identity matrix. So we say that 5, 4, 3, 2 is not the inverse matrix of 2, negative 4, negative 3, and 5. We can also say that 2, negative 4, negative 3, 5 is not the inverse for the other one. Okay, let's try out this one. For matrix 1, 3, 1, 4 and 1 over 2, 3, 1, 2, are they inverse to each other? Okay, so let's multiply and we do it carefully, and the result is, again, it is not identity matrix. So these two matrices are not inverse matrix of one another. So we can say that 1, 3, 1, 4 is not the inverse matrix of 1 over 2, 3, 1, 2. Alright, so that is how we determine the inverse matrix. Okay, let's try for the C. 1, 2, 4, 9, 1, negative 4, 1, negative 2, and negative 4, 9. Let's multiply the two matrices. So you still remember how to multiply. You take 1 times 1 plus 2 times negative 4. Again, it seems like it is not identity matrix. So we can say that 1, 2, 4, 9 is not the inverse matrix of 1, negative 2, negative 4, 9. Right? Okay, so that is basically how you determine the inverse matrix. Okay, so let's try D. Negative 2, 3, negative 5, 7, and 7, negative 3, 5, negative 2. Are they inverse matrix of one another? So let's try it out. Let's take negative 2 times 7 plus 3 times 5. It seems it's 1. Right, it is identity matrix. So we can say that these two matrices actually they are inverse of one another. So 7, negative 3, 5, negative 2, negative 2, 3, negative 5, 7. If I reverse and multiply, I will get identity matrix also. So the conclusion is negative 2, 3, negative 5, 7 is the inverse matrix of 7, negative 3, 5, negative 2. Alright, so it seems like quite simple, isn't it? You just multiply carefully and see whether you can get 1, 0, 0, 1, which is identity matrix. If you cannot get the identity matrix, that means they are not the inverse matrix of one another. Alright, so that's all my sharing for today. I really hope that you will have a better understanding of what is inverse matrix. Till then, I shall see you in my next video teaching. Bye bye and have a nice day.